Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are jumping right into the deep end.
And it's a deep end filled with regulations, not just water.
Absolutely. We're talking about the essential ongoing role of agents who deal with segregated funds.
Or individual variable insurance contracts, IVICs if you prefer the technical term.
Right. And we've got a whole stack of documentation here that really details what happens after you sign on the dotted line.
That's the key. We're going to shift our focus completely away from, the initial sales pitch.
Okay.
Our mission today is really to map out the entire life cycle of this client relationship. We're focusing on the mandatory legal documents and all the monitoring that has to happen post-sale.
So we're trying to figure out what takes an investment idea and turns it into a contract that's actually, legally binding and properly serviced.
And serviced for decades, potentially. It's a long-term thing.
I think a good starting point is this idea of the agent's dual mandate, because they're serving you, the client, but they also have to answer to the insurance company, the carrier.
And that can create some friction, for sure. The carrier sets these really high expectations for, well, everything. Pre-sale checks, filling out the application correctly, document delivery, and then years of service.
Sounds like a lot.
It is. They have expectations for business volume, for accuracy, and, this is crucial, for meticulous record keeping. The bar is set very high from the get-go.
Okay, so let's walk through this chronologically. Let's start with the moment the policy actually becomes official. The documentation we have really hammers home how formal the contract delivery is.
Yeah, this is a critical detail. It's not legally done just because your premium payment cleared.
Right.
The purchase is only completed and the contract legally issued when all the documents are physically delivered to you.
And that delivery has to be verifiable.
Exactly, either in person or through registered mail. That formality is the proof that you, the investor, have actually received all the terms and conditions.
So what's in this delivery package? It's more than just the policy, I assume.
Oh, much more. The official contract is really a bundle of documents. You've got the policy itself, of course, but also the information folder, the specific fund facts for your chosen investments, and a contract confirmation.
It's like the owner's manual and the warranty all rolled into one.
That's a great way to put it. And if there's a delivery receipt included, that has to be completed, signed, and witnessed before the agent sends it back. That receipt is the agent's proof that they've done their job.
Okay, let's spend a minute on that information folder. It sounds like a pretty hefty document. What's its main purpose?
Its core function is just broad, plain language disclosure. It has to spell out all the material facts about the seg fund contract overall.
So like the guarantees, the risks, the tax implications.
All of it. The big picture context.
And I see here the structure is important. It has to be front-loaded.
Precisely. It must lead off with a summary of key facts. It's meant to be a quick overview of the most important details that are then, explained more fully later on.
And the agent's duty here is absolute.
It is. They are explicitly required to review that information folder, especially those key facts, with you before they can even accept your application.
So if the information folder is the big picture, then the fun facts documents must be the zoom in, the fine details.
That's it, exactly. The fund facts are the crucial comparison tool. They give you the specifics of each particular fund you're looking at, and they're updated annually.
And the reason they work so well is because they're all standardized, right?
Yes, consistency is everything. They're written in plain language, and the format is consistent across the entire industry.
So you can actually compare Fund A from one company to Fund B from another, an apples-to-apples comparison.
That's the goal. And it is vital that the agent sits down and reviews the fund facts for the funds they're recommending with you to make sure you get it.
Let's pull out a few specifics from the fund facts structure. You always see that pie chart, the investment segmentation.
Yep, showing asset allocation. You also see performance over the last 10 years and, critically, the risk classification scale.
Usually that 5-band scale from very low to high risk.
Right, gives you a quick snapshot of volatility, but for a lot of investors, it comes down to cost, and that's usually item 8.
The detailed cost disclosures. We're talking MER, the management expense ratio, and the sales charges.
Whether it's an initial sales charge paid up front or a deferred sales charge schedule. Those are the numbers that really impact your long-term returns.
But I think the most surprising thing for a new investor is what's in item 9. The change your mind clause.
The escape hatch.
Yeah, the escape hatch. How does that actually work?
Well, you have a very short window. You can cancel the purchase within 2 business days of receiving your confirmation.
Only 2 days.
2 business days.
Right.
Or 5 days after the confirmation is mailed. It's a very tight deadline. Now, if you do cancel, the amount you get back is the lesser of what you invested or the market value if the fund has dropped.
Wait a second. So if the market tanks in those 2 days, you eat that loss.
You do. You get the lower of the two values. But, and this is the important part, any initial sales charges or fees you paid are fully refunded.
I see. So it's designed to let you walk away if you have second thoughts, but it doesn't shield you from market risk, even for that short period.
Exactly.
Okay, so that initial delivery is just one step. Now let's pivot to the ongoing service. The source material is so clear on this, saying the purchase confirmation is merely one step along the path.
Right. The agent's role now shifts from salesperson to a perpetual service manager. They're constantly handling instructions from you.
Like switching funds or making a withdrawal.
Switching funds, initiating a guarantee reset, withdrawals, even terminating the contract. And here's a huge point of liability. Verbal instructions are binding.
Oof, that sounds risky. How does an agent protect themselves?
Meticulous record keeping. It's mandatory. If you call in an instruction, the agent has to immediately log the date, the time, and exactly how they received those instructions. It protects everyone.
Let's get into client monitoring. The basics are pretty obvious, right?
Mm.
Making sure you tell your agent if you move or want to change a beneficiary.
Right, the simple stuff. But the complexity just skyrockets when you get into a major legal shift, like a power of attorney.
Ah,
Because if your financial affairs are transferred to a POA, maybe because you become incompetent, you can no longer legally give directions for the contract.
so the agent is suddenly dealing with a third party, and that must change everything.
It puts the agent in a very precarious position. And the massive complication here is that power of attorney laws are provincial. They vary significantly across the country.
So the agent can't just take the POA document at face value.
Absolutely not. They are required to get a legal opinion from the insurer's own legal department to confirm the POA's validity and its authority over that specific contract under that specific provincial law. It's a huge layer of due diligence.
Wow. Okay, so beyond monitoring the client, the agent also has to monitor the product itself. What are they tracking there?
Anything that changes the investment. The introduction of new funds, funds being merged or discontinued, a change in the portfolio manager, or even a shift in the MER.
They have to stay on top of all that to keep the client informed.
Which leads to maybe the most surprising duty we found in the sources.
Which is?
The mandatory disclosure of bad news.
Go on.
The documents are explicit. If there's a substantial loss in value in a fund you hold, the agent must inform you.
They have to make that call.
They have to make that call. It proves they're actively monitoring the performance on your behalf, not just waiting for the annual statement to go out.
Which brings us to the annual review. This isn't just good customer service, it's a requirement.
It is the mandatory minimum check-in. The agent should do it, in person or virtually, once a year. They review performance, good or bad, discuss your expectations, and check for any changes in your personal situation. It's systematic due diligence year after year.
Okay, let's move into some of the more complex transactions. Section 3, we'll start with fund switches.
Right, changing from one fund to another. They come in 2 flavors. First, you have unscheduled switches.
These are the ones the client asks for.
Client initiated, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to rebalance, or you're just not happy with the fund's performance. Usually, the carrier gives you a few free switches a year, but if you go over that limit, you might pay a fee.
And there's a specific rule in here to stop people from day trading their seg funds.
The 90-day fee. That's
Yeah.
right. If you try to switch units within 90 days of purchasing them, the insurer can charge a short-term trading fee, often around 2%. Sometimes they just prohibit the switch altogether.
It's their way of saying this is a long-term product.
It's an insurance contract, not a high-frequency trading platform. Then, on the other hand, you have scheduled switches.
Those are automatic.
Preset, like a monthly rebalancing plan. Because they're automatic, there's generally no fee. But it's important for you to remember, any switch, scheduled or not, is a transaction. It can trigger a capital gain or loss for tax purposes.
Good point. Now, let's talk about the feature that really defines seg funds. Resets. Locking in those market gains.
An unscheduled reset is something you initiate to lock in a higher guarantee value. So, say your fund has grown a lot, and its market value is way above the guaranteed floor.
You hit the reset button to raise that floor.
You raise that guaranteed floor to the new higher market value. But, and this is the major implication, doing that almost always restarts the maturity date.
Ah, so if you had a 10-year term on your contract, a reset starts a new 10-year term from that day.
You're essentially taking out a new policy from the insurer's point of view, and that's why they impose some serious limits.
Especially around age.
Exactly. Not all contracts even allow resets, and those that do might limit how many you can do per year. But the big one is often an age limit, like age 80,
Why is that?
because the insurer prices the death benefit guarantee on mortality statistics. A reset at age 80 pushes the new maturity date out to age 90. That dramatically increases the odds and the cost of them having to pay out that death benefit guarantee.
It's a huge risk for them.
Pure risk management, which is why trying to time the market by using up all your resets is often not the best strategy.
Okay, finally, let's touch on changing beneficiaries. The big difference here is revocable versus irrevocable.
And agents will very, very rarely advise an irrevocable designation
Because
because you can only change it if that beneficiary, assuming they're a competent adult, gives you their written permission. It completely ties your hands.
So the best practice is always naming a contingent beneficiary as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's crucial planning. It covers you if, say, the primary beneficiary dies before you do or in a common accident.
And the formality here is also key. The timing of the notification.
The change is effective the day you sign the form. But the insurance company is only legally required to honor that new designation once they receive the written notice. The agent has to make sure that form gets delivered promptly.
So if we circle back and try to synthesize all this, the agent's job is really one of rigorous service management.
It is. It's so much less about the one-time sale and so much more about adhering to strict disclosure rules and providing that continuous, systematic service year after year.
It's really a cradle-to-grave relationship, governed by all these checks and balances.
From the annual review to navigating a complex power of attorney situation, the agent is providing administrative and compliance services that, frankly, justify the ongoing cost of the contract.
And just briefly, what happens at the very end of the road? Contract maturity.
At maturity, you have a few options. You can take the cash, you can use the money to buy an annuity, or if the contract allows, you can renew it for another term.
And if you renew, the guarantee just starts over.
A new guarantee period begins. The initial amount for that renewal is based on the total market value at that time, or the guarantee value if the market happens to be down. The death benefit continues, and the agent, of course, is right there managing that renewal process.
Okay, so here is a final provocative thought for you to chew on. The documentation makes it crystal clear that the agent is responsible for monitoring your funds and has to tell you about substantial losses.
Right, but at the same time, your ability to lock in market gains through those resets is strictly limited, maybe once or twice a year.
So the question for you, the investor, is this. Knowing your ability to reset is limited, how can you best align your own proactive requests with the agent's mandatory duties to ensure you're getting steady, modest gains over the long term?
Instead of just chasing market highs or constantly playing catch-up.
Something to think about as you review your next annual statement.
It certainly is.
Until next time.